Welcome to Chapter 1 of the History of the Missouri Feral Hogs. We start with 1873 to 1969, History of Wild Hogs in Missouri. During the settlement of Missouri, livestock were legally allowed to roam freely, and it was the responsibility of landowners, not livestock owners, to fence their properties to exclude hogs and other livestock. State law was changed in 1873 to allow individual counties to decide who was responsible for fences to control livestock. 1884, St. Charles County was one of the first to require confinement of hogs, but did not do so until 1884. Even city ordinances in the cities of Missouri had to be placed to prevent hogs from running the streets wild. 1918, south of the Missouri border. Arkansas in 1918, when District 7 included all of southern national forests extending as far west as Oklahoma, there was an attempt within the Forest Service to make grazing business pay on eastern national forests as it had for years in the western national forest. Livestock animals were grazing on all the national forests in District 7. The largest was 3,598 on the Ouachita National Forest, Arkansas. The Forest Service grazing regulations required the registration of all livestock owners who used the national forest for grazing, except for the national forest in Arkansas. Their livestock owners could graze free without permit 25 head of cattle, 50 hogs, or 75 sheep or goats, on the condition that livestock owners assist in fighting forest fires without charge to the government. One of the most heated periods occurred in 1965, both in Missouri and Arkansas, when the Forest Service decided forest lands could no longer tolerate unrestricted grazing by livestock, especially hogs. Grazing permits had been issued in the forest since the early 1920s. Most livestock, however, grazed without permission. In 1965, more than 1,500 head of livestock belonged to 79 permit holders used in the Ozark National Forest. In contrast, more than 8,000 head of cattle and 6,000 hogs grazed without permits. Just like Arkansas, Missouri had its tense moments. 1930s, a serious problem on the Mark Twain National Forest in the early years was the forest fires. The Ozark natives had practiced intentional fire setting for generations and believed that it eliminated insects and pests, cleared out underbrush so cattle and hogs could feed in the forest. A big job of district rangers was fighting forest fires during the season, trying to convince the locals that they could not continue setting fires on national forest lands. The forest supervisors and their staffs throughout the 1930s mounted numerous fire prevention programs, and the work of the CCC did much to alleviate the problem. In Arkansas, they had issued a warrant for the arrest of one of the rangers for stealing hogs. Well, in Missouri, the story was the same. As late as the 1960s, one ranger in the Ozark who was confiscating loose running hogs in the national forest was told by local sheriff that if he came to town, he would be arrested for hog stealing. He stayed out of town for a while. Other counties gradually followed suit, and free range ended for the whole state in 1969. Feral hog is a bureaucratic designation. It is not a different species of pig. Since 1969 to today, there have been feral hogs in a few Missouri counties, primarily south of Interstate 44. The population has been sporadic, augmented by intentional releases from on-the-ground hog operations or accidental escape in those counties and other counties. The main location for the last 10 years included the Mark Twain National Forest.